Welcome to VR Under 4, your home for the latest VR reviews. Today we are going to strap on our headsets and step into the world of the Peaky Blinders. The year is 1928 and you find yourself in the dark and grim city of Birmingham. The sun is obscured by constant fog and factory smoke, and you find yourself in need of a favor. As a veteran of the First World War, you turn to the only person who will help you, Tommy Shelby. But his help will come at a price. The campaign plays out like a detective novel with a few shootouts. Tommy Shelby asks you to find Winston Churchill's stolen red box of state secrets in exchange for cleaning up your war record. To accomplish this, you will need to explore the gritty streets of 1920s Birmingham and London for clues. In addition to the quest items you need to find, you can also search for collectibles like cigarette packs and pocket watches in each location. Your quest will take you to iconic locations from the show such as the Garrison Tavern, Charlie's Yard, the Shelby's betting shop, and even an opium den. In my opinion, this is where the game really shines. Each location was faithfully recreated in VR and the ambience is perfection. At specific intervals in the campaign, your detective work is put on hold for a fight scene. Although this probably should have been the highlight of the game, the combat is clunky and ends up being something you just endure to finish the campaign. The campaign only takes a few hours to complete. Although you will get to experience some cool locations, the quality of the game seems to decrease the further you get in the story. The VR controls are very basic and intuitive. Within a couple of minutes, I was able to master walking, turning, and grabbing objects. You play the game from the perspective of two floating hands, which isn't rare for VR titles. However, the tracking is fairly poor, and you shouldn't be surprised if one of the hands gets virtually stuck or even disappears from time to time. Once you reach the point in the game where you get to use your gun, you will find drawing your gun, shooting, and reloading all fairly intuitive. The gameplay was mostly smooth, but I did encounter some lags and shuddering in a couple of high-action sequences. The King's Ransom leaves a lot to be desired in a VR game. Although certain locations are beautiful to see, the detail is only skin deep. The number of objects in the game you can interact with is very limited, and overall the world feels empty and fake. The combat in the game can only be described as disappointing. For no logical reason, you are unable to carry extra ammo, which I found very frustrating. The NPCs in combat can only be described as comical. Your allies will stand in the open shooting wildly and hitting nothing. On the other hand, your enemies are all highly skilled marksmen. Shooting from a stationary position was fine, but the experience decreased dramatically if you were trying to move and shoot. If you get too close to a wall or object, your weapon will sometimes disappear, leaving you to wave at your enemies with your empty hands. The NPCs in the game look like they were sculpted from Play-Doh and their movements are stiff and unnatural. Additionally, your character has no dialogue options, so your conversations with them feel somewhat pointless. After you finish the main campaign, you are able to keep playing to complete a series of shooting galleries and combat challenges. However, the combat is so bad you most likely won't want to even bother. You can expect to get 2 to 4 hours of gameplay out of the King's Ransom. If you are a fan of the Peaky Blinders show, you will enjoy the chance to walk around the garrison and stroll down Watery Lane to the betting house. But even fans of the show will be disappointed with the poor combat and the empty feeling of this virtual world. Overall, I think Peaky Blinders: The King's Ransom is a game only fans of the show will find any enjoyment in. It was neat to walk around the Shelby's home turf, but everything else about the game was below average. What do you think? Did this game make you feel like you were one of the Peaky Blinders? Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.